Hello, this is ASEAN Movie Pulse Interviews. I am Panos Kotzathanasis, and today I'm here with Dakxin Chara, filmmaker of his movie screening in Rotterdam right now. How are you, Dakxin?
I'm fine. Thank you so much.
Okay, okay. So I will begin going a bit to the past. Were you there during the 2002-2003 riots in the area, or?
Yeah, I was there. I mean, the worst riots took place just a half kilometer from my place where I live, and yeah, so I was there. I mean, during the riots in 2002.
How bad was it? How bad was the situation?
Oh,
Were you?
that was horrible. I mean, I never heard the word kind of riots. I mean, or Hindu Muslim riots, because the kind of community I live, they are a very they don't have a these things. I'm a Hindu Muslim. I never heard this word actually in my upbringing in my community, so I never heard actually about the riots. I first time come to know about in 2002, and that was really horrible. It was I mean, the state could stop so many killings, but I think inefficiency of the state and the state machinery. I mean, they could not control it, and it was going on so many days. I mean, not just a few days, but so many days, and many people. I think more than 1,000 people lost their life.
Mhm, mhm. How is the situation now? Is there still tension between Muslims and Hindus in the area?
See, Hindus and Muslims were always living in India very peacefully, actually, since thousands of years and hundreds of years. But I think recently, the right-wing political party, uh, I mean, their machinery and followers, they are very anti-Muslim and anti-minority. So the constant propaganda and the constant, uh, uh, I mean, making minorities like a villain uh, in the country, like a mob lynching, you know, um, like a terrorism, they make them responsible for so many bad things which is happening in the country. The followers of right wing, and that is causing a really lot of problem. uh, I mean, that is increasing the gap between the Hindus and Muslims. uh, I'm 49 now, and honestly saying, I never saw this kind of phase in my life in the country. So unfortunately, the there are so many differences, and the tension between the Hindus and Muslims, that is day by day increasing. It's not uh, I mean, there are very less efforts for the communal harmony. I mean, because the kind of politics at the moment in India, uh, you know, blaming the minority is the political agenda. That is the whole issue.
Mhm, mhm. So essentially, you blame the authorities for what is happening.
Yeah, I mean, they can control. Definitely, they have they have a huge machinery. They should control. They should frame the policies, not to blame to each other. I mean, state can do state. They can create a laws to protect the human rights, of each other. I mean, not just Muslim, but even for the Hindus also, they can actually frame the laws and implement the, and they can actually pressure to the agencies implementing agencies, so they can actually control the law and order uh, properly.
Mhm, mhm. And what is the role of the police in the whole thing? Because in the movie you paint them with dark colors, let's say.
No, I think it's a first of all, it's a fiction film. It's inspired by some of the incident took place in Ahmedabad and in many places of India. So it's not a completely non-fiction or the reality-based film. It's a fiction account of the real incident took place at the different places. Um See, police in India, uh, they are always under the pressure, of politics, and they have to work under the constant pressure. I mean, they're humans. I believe every person is, they're humans. They also have a real aspirations. They also have an heart. What is right and what is wrong, they can understand, everything. But they are, being treated as a tool for the, political agenda. So I think that can be. That is the reason actually the way they should efficiently work, they are not able to do that. I think that can be the reason. They are constantly under the pressure, I mean.
But you don't blame them directly, or...
Yeah, I mean, see, certain incidents happen where police definitely, were wrong in many incidents. But in a large context, you cannot say that entire police department, is wrong. I mean, or the particular department is wrong, because they are doing their, duty. But obviously, we everyone know that everyone has their, working under the pressure. So sometimes there are good officers, sometimes there are bad officers. I mean, it's depend on. That's why, if you remember in the Samir, in the climax, I mean, say if you watch the film, then uh, the anti-terrorist squad police officer, he said that, the terrorist said that sometimes we have to do such things. And then when he killed him, I mean, he encountered him, he said, sometimes we have to also do such kind of things. So everyone is under the pressure of, politics and tremendous pressure. Depend on the officers. I mean, I know many good officers in my life who really work very hard actually for the communal harmony, not just communal harmony, but so many other, like a tribal development, like the community, I believe, denotified tribes, for their development. They started the library. So there are so many good officers also, and there are so many, bad officers also. It depends.
And the role of the press, what is their role, you think?
No, I think Indian media is very unfortunate. I'm very sorry to say, but Indian media is at the moment is extremely political. I mean, they forgot their duty, except few. I mean, few agencies, media agencies, but most of media houses are actually bought by millionaires, billionaire peoples like Reliance and Adani's. So it's I mean, and these all the capitalist people are billionaire and millionaires. They are always a good friend of the government. So they are constantly bombarding and branding certain communities, and they are praising all the things which government is actually doing. They are not doing, and they are not, looking at critically the way actually media people should do that. I think they forgot their fundamental duty. Uh, According to me, media's main work is to caution. Cautioning is the main work, and to see the things, from the different perspective and critically. I think that most of media houses forgot, and because it's very simple. I mean, their owners are a good friend of, politicians, and they are constantly praising actually government, but they are not raising any sort of political, uh, political questions, and uh, critical thoughts. And like I'm saying, for example, there is a channel, a TV channel called Republic, Republic, and the main journalist, Mr. Arnab Goswami. I mean, when I saw him in 2014, the way he was doing the praising, and the way he was doing the covering the political issues. After that, I stopped to watch TV. I mean, since 2014, I haven't switch on my TV, because I think that is very bad for the kids, the kind of language they use. B is so aggressive, extremely aggressive. C, it's not a neutral, news speaking or news anchoring. It's like you're favoring someone, and you are just branding someone that he's a god or she is the deity. I mean, that's not a media. That's unfortunately that's not a press. So
Mm.
largely, in nutshell, uh, Indian media at the moment is very politicized, and they forgot their fundamental duty.
Mhm, mhm. And in all this chaos, let's say, that is created, what do you think is the role of art? Can cinema make a difference? You think there is an artist in the film that actually makes a difference, right? Mando, let's say. So is that what you think, that artists can make a difference in this setting?
I 100%, I strongly believe in this. I think the reasons can be a, if you're an artist, if you're watching film and or play or any sort of art, normally you don't think from your mind, you think from your heart. People forgot their heartbeats, the sensitivity. I think the art is the is an only medium which we have that can actually make human more human, um, that can actually realize human that they also have a sensibility to understand each other and others issues, not just your own issues but each other's issues. So I have a huge faith in art, and I strongly believe that if certain kind of cinema can be produced, if certain kind of theater productions, if certain kind of all sort of arts can be produced, and if it can be open for the people, I'm 100% sure that it can definitely bring the change.
Hmm, hmm.
There is a very interesting theory, if you allow me, that
Yes.
uh, I think the Goldstone historian Goldstone, he did. Uh, uh, I mean, he did study actually on the common patterns in the revolutions happen actually around the world, like French Revolution, English Revolution, Chinese Revolution, Russian revolutions, and he found some common patterns. The first three common patterns were very interesting. I mean, that was absolutely non-violent. And the first common pattern among all five great revolutions were that if artists, expressionists, journalists, literary people, filmmakers, if they go against the state, then definitely political change comes. The second was the second common pattern was if the bureaucrats in the government system, if they go against the state, definitely political change come. And the third one was if the clergy class of the particular state, if they go against the state, definitely political change comes. Now we can't say anything about second pattern and third pattern. We can talk about your first pattern, which is the most important thing actually at the moment for the entire world. You know, uh, uh, so I think that is the duty of any artist. To raise, to show the truth
Hmm,
from the proper perspective to the masses, and I'm sure then things can definitely get changed.
hmm, hmm. So is Manto in the film kind of you, let's say, represents you in a way?
It is, yeah, yeah. Because I do a lot of community theater for the constitutional guarantee for our denotified and nomadic tribes who are branded as criminal tribes. Unfortunately, uh, it happened actually during the British, but that is still, the stigma is still going on. So, I think through the theater, since 25 years, we have been struggling, to get and convincing, trying to convince to the government, yeah, that when India got independence, we remarkably forgotten.
Mm,
None of the Indian leader, they uh, they spoke about us actually in the Constitutional Assembly. They spoke, they raised the denotified tribes issue because people were into the jail, into the open jail, like a Nazi concentration camps in
mhm,
Germany. We also have those kind of camps, but not like a Nazi concentration camps, but people allowed to stay in a certain area. Those called settlements. So people were, all the denotified tribes were kept into those settlement areas. There were no leaders. So unfortunately, none of the leader in the country, when India got independence, they spoke, they raised the issue of the denotified tribes while writing the constitution. So, like at the moment, scheduled caste, who were treated as the untouchables, and still they are treated as the untouchables in many parts of India. Uh, they got the constitutional guarantee for the education and jobs. Then scheduled tribe, the Adivasis who live in the jungles, they also got the constitutional guarantee from the state. We did not get. We, our people were remarkably forgotten, and that is our struggle. That is my film and theater work is around this issue, and we are trying to raise this issue at all level, state level, national level, international front. Like at the moment I'm talking with you, I hope people can understand India's almost 10 crore people. I mean, it's a huge population who are still living the life like a hell, you know, like a, I mean, they are poorer among poor. You won't find, that they have their, houses on the land. There are landless, people still roaming here and there, and they don't have any jobs or any sort of, legal security from the state. So yeah, so yeah, Manto is my reflection in the film.
Okay, and tell me a bit about the character of Samir. What was the inspiration behind him?
See, Zishan is extremely intelligent person, very extremely very well read, very well trained in National School of Drama, and the most important thing I think is he's very good man. He's a very good human being. He understands what is going on. So it's as an artist or as a Bollywood actor, he just don't act for their livelihood, for his just livelihood. I think he act for uh, some cause, So sometime when he choose the script, his characters point out on a very specific issue. I think as an artist, he's doing his duty really very well. So I think that is the reason I cast Jishan, because Jishan is a very broad-minded person and absolute clarity actually about whatever the issues are. And obviously, he's a very good actor. That is why I cast him. When I narrated the story, I think if I remember, there was shooting going on a very big set, and I did not know that Jishan is also working in that film. I went to see someone, my friend, and I suddenly saw Jishan, and Jishan was there, and we just both hugged to each other, and we sat for a few minutes, and I said, I'm trying to make this film. This is the story. And when I reached to the half of the story, he said, I'm working. I'm on board. So don't worry about anything. You just start the film. So I think that's a commitment, of as an actor, of Jishan.
And can you tell me a bit about the rest of the cast? How did you get them?
Yeah, so Anjali, obviously, she's very good actress, and she worked in a very experimental cinema, like art house. I like her performance actually in many of the films. Subrat Datta, I because he was a good friend of mine. Obviously, very good voice and very good actor. Both Anjali, Subrat Datta, and Jishan, they all were trained in the National School of Drama. National School of Drama is a very reputed institution in India. So obviously he was very trained. I cast Rocket, a boy. Uh, he's my son actually.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and his name is Shubham. Uh, I cast him for two reasons. A, when in Ahmedabad, when there was uh, blast actually took place, a bomb blast took place in 2008 in Ahmedabad, and many people were killed. That time, actually, I was post blast. I was shooting the chaos as a documentary filmmaker, And I was documenting, I was shooting a boy actually who is in the ICU, in the hospital on the deathbed. And he was just about to die, and his father was just talking with me and crying. And then suddenly that boy actually died in front of my camera.
Oh.
And I really so disturbed actually that time. His name was Muhammad Ismail. The boy's name was Muhammad Ismail. And it's got trigger me. I mean, what exactly? I mean, how you can define terrorism for the particular, and branding particular religious people and, as a terrorist? I think that's a bullshit. And I thought, I think I should go more into my research and to find out some of the reasons of such kind of violent actions. And I decided that whenever I will make my film, first feature film, then I will, um, I mean, I will definitely bring out the story of this boy. That boy who used to sell the water pouch. Uh, I mean, in India, people can actually drink water from the pouches. So just 1 rupee pouch, and he was selling there, and then suddenly bomb blast happened, and then he got injured, and then he died. So, in nutshell, I found that terrorism not just kill people, but it also kill innocence in the society or innocence of the society. And I just wanted to portray this thing into the film, that whatever terrorist attack happen or violent actions happen across the country. I mean, apart of the political issues, it is also issue of the society who forgot their innocence, and it kill also society's innocence. So I think this is the reason I developed Rocket's character in the film. And when at the end, things are, I mean, there's a bomb blast, and Jishan is just looking him. Uh, and when he come to know, he said, I forgive you. I mean, why stating like this? I forgive you. So this is my Gandhi. I only know Gandhi because Gandhi always believe in, forgiving. That until and unless you don't forgive anyone, you cannot break the cycle of the violence. So he said, I forgive you. He's a boy. He's just a. So I think it's a very dear character of the Samir to me. And my son is Otis. I mean, it's not that bad, but he has a dyslexia, and his hand really tremors because of the some damage in the brain, so birth complications. Uh, but fortunately he's doing very good. He's singing, and he's reciting his own poem, writing his own poems. So I found that innocence of that boy, Muhammad Ismail's innocence, in my child, and that is I employ him into the film, and he really acted very well.
But was it difficult for you killing your own son in the film? Since I don't know, how was it?
It was super difficult. I mean, while shooting, when at the in the climax, the second last shot, I mean, there is a white cloth on the body, and people are sitting around him. Honestly saying, that was horrible. I mean, for me, it was unbearable to see. But it's an art. I mean, you have to. If I don't show or create such things, I won't be able to raise the people's sensibilities towards such kind of issues. So it's not just my work. It was also my son's, Shubham's also work to act in that way. So yeah, obviously it was very hard, but it's the film.
Okay. Can you tell me a bit about how did you shoot this action scenes, the explosions and the car chases? Was it difficult, and how did you go about that part?
I think Samir is the only film which is entirely shot in Ahmedabad city, like in so many years of film history in Gujarat. So it's a completely Ahmedabad-based production. Ahmedabad is like a capital city not capital city, but yeah, it's a major city of Gujarat, which has lots of companies and industries and Gandhi Ashram is, I mean, the well-known Gandhi Ashram is there. So it was quite difficult because it's a very crowded place. Shooting the chase sequence, because there were two cameras, the frontal cameras. Sometimes there's a lot of traffic, and from that your actor is driving the car. Very challenging. But honestly saying, thanks to Ahmedabad Police, basically Ahmedabad Police Commissioner, who gave the permission actually to us to shoot actually such kind of chase sequence. It's not very common in Ahmedabad, but yeah, because of the local administration's support, I could actually shoot a very long chase sequence in car also. And uh, Ahmedabad has a very typical area which is called Pole, Pol, and Pole is a very you know small lane, a very small lane that is a full of a small lane, that area. So when we were shooting, we also got a very good help actually from the local people, because such shootings were happening into those areas, and people like it very much. So obviously, with the support of Ahmedabad police and Ahmedabad people, we could do that. But obviously, that was very challenging to bring the entire crew from Bombay to Ahmedabad and to shoot this film for at least 35 days. It was challenging.
But what is the language they speak in the film? Is it Gujarati? I'm not sure.
It's Hindi.
It's Hindi. It's Hindi. Okay. All right. And did the film screen in India?
Yeah, I mean that film was released in India in 2017 in theaters. Then it was on Netflix between 2017 to 2019, and after that, right now the film is available on Amazon Prime and Jio Cinema. Yeah, the Samir is kindly invited actually by the Rotterdam Film Festival, and they invited so many very good films, which is raising the issues whatever contemporary India is facing.
And how was the reception of the audience in India of the film? How did they react?
Very good, very good. I mean, we got a very good audience in theaters also, and I think because film was censored very badly because of its politics and some of the cuts which were absolutely not acceptable. But I had to do that because I had to release the film actually into the theaters. So without censor certificate, you can't release film in theater for the public exhibition. So yeah, it was well received, but it was more well received actually on Netflix. And then still people actually know Samir as a film, like a very classic example of the film censorship.
So the version that is screening now in Rotterdam is the full version, right? Not without cuts.
It is director's version, yeah.
Okay. And what is your opinion of the Indian movie industry at the moment? What is the situation there?
Say again?
What is the situation with the movie industry in India at the moment? What do you think about it? Yeah,
I think, I mean, if I say in general, people are really making a lot of films. And if I say critically, I think the good cinema is disappearing. I mean, good cinema, for me, good cinema is that raising the particular issues of the society or particular, thing of the society. That is slowly disappearing because there are no finances for the meaningful films. But there are finances available on a very full toss entertainment films. Bollywood, very typical style of Bollywood masala films. So, and also My another critical observation about the films are, at the moment in India, the propaganda, films, it is increasing actually, in every film. Like most of the big Bollywood actors, they are directly or indirectly, they are blaming, on the minorities. They are still making minority a villainous characters, and they are still, distorting, distorting the history. They are making, they're rewriting their own history, through the films. So that's at the moment the general observations and the critical observations about the film.
And last question, I guess, can you tell me a bit about your future projects? What are you working on now and future?
Yeah, at the moment I am working on a series which is tentatively, it's a tentative title is Born Criminals. The film actually, I mean, this series, it's addressing the real incident happened actually in India. I mean, the denotified tribal, which I belong to the tribe, the denotified tribal, they were actually arrested by the police in 2003, and under the very gruesome murder case. And without proper investigation, the court actually, gave them a capital punishment. So the lower court, and then session court, the district court, and the high court, the state court, and even the Supreme Court of India, they gave them the capital punishment, and they were on the death row for no crime at all. And after 19 years, some good lawyer, he came to know about that this is okay, this is a wrong thing. And he addressed the issue again, and he reopened the case. And finally, all the 5 people, they actually got released, by the Supreme Court. And Supreme Court actually they agreed that, if you are poor in this country, you become automatically suspicious person. That is in the judgment. I'm making a film actually, a series. It's a 12 episode series. 8 episodes are already, we have written that, and at the moment I'm pitching this story actually to the different different platforms. If they, I mean, it's such kind of subject never bring out actually into the series or into the film. It's a very serious issue because you are a stigmatized community. Police can arrest you easily, and judiciary can easily, they can punish you. But after 19 years in the jail, 16 years in the jail, it's a lot time. It's a very lot. It's a lot time. So 16 years. So it's a film is about their experiences of, in the jail, how this span actually.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Panos. I'm very, I'm very happy. You spoke on a very important issues actually about the, Bollywood, Indian movies, obviously about Samir and the kind of, social issue I'm attached. Thank you so much for your kind help.
Thank you. So this was ASEAN Movie Pulse Talks. See you later. Bye.
Bye.